President Trump is set to become the third president in American history to be impeached today. Last night, Trump sent a scathing letter to Speaker Nancy Pelosi, calling the impeachment inquiry illegal and an attempt at a coup. Nevertheless, lawmakers are set to vote to impeach the president after 6 hours of debate over charges he abused the power of his office and obstructed Congress. In other news on today's show, is impeachment giving Pete Buttigieg the upper hand? Georgia removes more than 300,000 registered voters from the voter rolls. And the impeachment vote stirs protests across the country. I'm Julia Manchester in for Jamal Simmons, who's headed to LA to cover the debate. You can follow our debate coverage at thehill.com. This is why you should care. Whether you support impeachment or not, one thing is clear. It's throwing a curveball at the 2020 Democratic presidential hopefuls, and Mayor Pete Buttigieg may be the one presidential hopeful who can benefit the most from the process. Unlike Senators Warren and Sanders, Buttigieg won't be pulled off the campaign trail for an impeachment trial. And unlike Vice President Joe Biden, he won't have to fend off accusations or controversy that surrounds the details of the impeachment probe. Instead, he'll be able to fully focus on campaigning and connecting to voters on kitchen table issues like healthcare and the economy. So here's why you should care. We're nearing the home stretch of the Democratic primary, and these last few months are crucial for the Democratic presidential candidates. And the Senate trial comes when Buttigieg's latest bump in the polls seems to be waning. We'll see if he's able to seize the opportunity to edge out the other candidates. Hundreds of thousands of inactive voters were removed from Georgia's voter rolls this week. The Secretary of State's move is a part of a new provision in the state that designates a voter as inactive if she or he has not participated in more than 3 years or not participated in 2 general elections and has not been contacted by the Board of Elections. 313,000 voters were hit by this new provision. That's 4% of registered voters. Democrat Stacey Abrams' organization, Fair Fight Action, moved quickly to file a motion in federal court to stop the states from going to remove voters. The organization says that the state's actions violates voters' First Amendment right not to vote. This isn't Georgia's first attempt at blocking people from voting. As a new Atlanta Journal-Constitution study found, Republican officials in the state have enacted policies specifically aimed at keeping African Americans from getting to the polls. Whether it's purging over 1 million voters from the system, holding registrations hostage, and closing or moving precincts and polling sites, some voters, specifically African American voters, are being suppressed. So why should you care? Georgia says its move to remove inactive voters is just part of a regular maintenance, dating decades back to the National Voter Registration Act of 1993. Other states, including Illinois and Wisconsin, have also taken voters off their rolls. So while a judge in Georgia is set to hear arguments from those challenging the state's move, there's no guarantee they'll be successful. Voters' best bet is to make sure they're registered with their local Board of Elections. The House's 6-hour debate ahead of the much-anticipated vote to impeach President Trump is well underway. Meanwhile, protesters across the U.S. are taking to the streets to support the Democrats' effort to give Trump the boot. Hundreds of rallies dubbed "Nobody is Above the Law" started Tuesday night. Several left-wing organizations, including the Women's March, are listed on the website outlining the details of the rallies. 200,000 people are expected to show up. Protesters flooded the streets of Philadelphia, New York City, Boston, Chicago, Washington, D.C., and several others. The House will be voting later today on 2 articles of impeachment, one for abusing his power in dealing with Ukraine, and 2 for obstructing Congress as they carried out their impeachment inquiry. So why should you care? House Democrats will likely succeed in voting to impeach the president, but their effort to remove him from office will likely come to a dead end in the Senate when the majority of the Republican upper chamber will decide President Trump's fate by trial.
Thanks for watching Hill TV on YouTube. Be sure to click subscribe and hit the bell so you know when we post new videos, and head to thehill.com for all the latest political news.